Hello everyone, Recap Legends here. Today I am going to explain a supernatural horror film named Final Destination. But if you have come to our channel for the first time, then please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon so that you can get the explanation videos of all types of movies. So let's start explaining this movie without wasting much of your time. At the beginning of the story, Alex's mother tells him that Todd and George's father had a call and they would come here tomorrow at 3:30 and the bus from the high school would leave for the airport at exactly 5 p.m. Actually, Alex is about to go to Paris for a holiday with his friends. After this, the scene shifts to the next day where we see some college students, who were going from New York to Paris for a trip. They were all very excited about their journey. As soon as Alex reached the airport, a man gives him a book named Zide is Not the End. Alex keeps the book, and goes to the verification counter to verify his documents. In the meantime, he starts seeing different visions, such as which flight is cancelled and which flight is ready for takeoff. Actually, Alex was able to see the future events in his vision. Then the lady at the counter informs him that his flight time was on September 25th at 9:25. After this, he goes to the toilet with his friend Todd. Just then a song starts playing at the airport, and then Alex tells Todd that the singer of this song was killed in a plane accident. Only then the time of takeoff of the flight is announced and all the students go to sit on the flight. Alex falls asleep as soon as he gets on the plane and starts to see a dream, in which he sees that, where everyone is sitting in their seats. On the other hand, Todd is arguing with two girls about changing seats, but Todd did not want to change the seat under any circumstances. That's why both the girls come to Alex and ask him to change his seat. After listening to both of them, Alex changes his seat and goes to the seat next to Todd, where he sees that the pin of the seat in front of him was broken. And at the same time, Alex also sees in his dream that as soon as the plane flies, the plane explodes in the air after some time. Alex was busy in his dream when both the same girls come to him and woke him up from sleep and ask him to change his seat. Alex gets a little scared seeing the same girls of his dreams because according to his dream, the girls are asking him to change theirs, so he runs away to check the seat near Todd, but he also has the pin of that seat. Seeing it broken, he is convinced that all the visions that came in the dream are going to come true and in no time this plane will also explode. Seeing all the things of his dream come true, he starts shouting and telling everyone that this plane will explode as soon as it goes into the air. Hearing his words, his classmate Carter starts fighting with him because his trip could have been cancelled because of that. After that, a fight ensues between Carter and Alex. Seeing Alex and Carter fighting with each other, the plane's staff kicks out both of them from the plane. Seeing them quarreling on the plane, Todd, his teacher, and his classmates also come out of the plane and try to pacify both of them. Then the security guard comes there and tells them all, now these people cannot travel on this plane. Hearing the word of the security guard, Luton requested to security guard and says, at least one should be allowed to sit in the plane because they have 40 students inside the plane and they need someone to look after them. Keeping in mind the words of Luton, the security guard allows a person to go with him, so Luton tells the male teacher to go with the student. As soon as the security guard leaves, Carter and Alex start quarreling again and say that our flight has been cancelled because of you, Alex. Both of them are fighting with each other and in the meantime the plane explodes as soon as it goes into the air. Seeing that everyone starts looking at Alex in fear because Alex's point was right. After this two FBI agents come there and start talking about the plane being blasted. It is then revealed that everyone was killed in the blast. The agent starts questioning Alex about how he found out that the plane was about to explode. On this, he tells that he had seen all this in his dream vision. Now that agent starts questioning everyone. Here we also see another girl named Claire, who believing Alex's words to be true, gets off the plane with him. After some time everyone's parents come there and bring them home. Claire also goes to her house but here we come to know that his parents were not alive. In fact, someone murdered her father, later her mother left her, that's why she used to live alone. Now Alex comes to his house and starts weeping because he blamed himself was responsible for that accident. He was not getting sleep. Reporters on TV say that all 287 people on the plane have died, 40 of them were students of Alex's school. He is very sad to listen to this news. The next day a funeral is held at the school for the student and the teacher who died in the plane accident. Along with the student, his parents also came there. Meanwhile, Todd's father starts staring strangely at Alex, because one of his sons was killed in a plane accident, and he believes that Alex was only responsible for his death. Here Carter gets angry with Alex again and tells him that he is never going to die, he is the master of his own life. After that Billy, a classmate of Alex, comes to Alex and starts asking Alex about his future, but Alex tells him to go from there. Then Todd comes to Alex and talks very well because he knew that Alex was not at fault in the plane accident. After this Claire comes to Alex and says that she is alive only because of him, and thanks to him. In the next scene, we see at night when Alex is in his room, an owl comes and sits on his window. Alex throws a newspaper at her to go far away. The owl goes away but the newspaper gets stuck in a fan and breaks into many pieces. Then a piece of the newspaper comes and falls to Alex, and Todd's name is written on that piece. Only then does he understand that the next number to die is Todd. On the other hand, we see Todd in his bathroom. Then suddenly his foot slips, and a wire gets stuck in his neck and he suffocates because of the wire. Todd tries a lot to avoid that wire but that wire also misses. He tries to call his father too but he is unable to speak and he dies in agony. On seeing the name of Todd on the piece of newspaper, Alex goes to Todd's house, where he came to know that Todd had died before he arrived. In the meantime, Claire is noticed by Alex, but at that time Alex ignores Claire and goes to Todd's father and asks him the reason for Todd's death. After that Todd's father tells him that Todd has committed suicide because of the depression after the death of his brother, but Alex does not believe it. It is because Todd was talking well to him at the funeral. After this, the scene shifts to the next day, where Alex goes to Claire's house and asks her what she was doing near Todd's house. Then Claire says, "I also felt something strange last night and that is why I went there." Now Claire asks him whose number is next. But Alex does not know who is next. Here Alex was very nervous about the death of Todd, that's why he tells Claire that he wants to see Todd last time. After this, both of them secretly come to the mortuary and are very sad to see Todd's dead body. Then a doctor comes here and tells that Todd did not commit suicide, but he died due to the pulling of the wire, and here doctor also says that you have dodged death once by getting off the plane, but death must be designed a pattern for all who were still alive in the plane accident. But if you want to dodge the death again, you have to decipher the pattern of death. The next day Alex and Claire come to a coffee shop where Alex start to think about who will die next and how will they avoid their deaths. And here Alex also tells Claire that before someone's death comes, he starts getting many types of signals. Now Alex starts to explain to him about the design of death. He says that if the pattern of death is detected, then we will be able to dodge our death again. Both of them are talking among themselves there. Then Carter comes there with his girlfriend Terry, and as soon as he comes there, Carter starts quarreling with Alex again. In the meantime, we can also see his teacher Luton there, who also survived in that plane crash. Seeing their fight, Terry starts leaving from there when a bus comes and hits Terry and she dies on the spot. Seeing all this, they all get very scared and nervous. In the next scene, we see Alex watching the news on TV and in that news, it is told that where the blast started in the plane and spread throughout the plane. While watching the news, Alex deciphers the code of the pattern of death and comes to know that his teacher Luton's next turn to die, who was sitting next to Terry. Alex then immediately goes to Luton's house to save them by telling them about the death. Here Luton is still sad and scared about the death of Terry. Then she gets scared seeing Alex near her house and calls the police because she thought Alex had come to her house to kill her. Then agents come there and arrest Alex. After that the agents start questioning Alex. Why did he go to Luton's house? Alex begins to explain to them about the pattern of death and tells them that according to the pattern of death Luton will die soon. But the agent does not take his words seriously and starts thinking of him as crazy, and due to the lack of evidence against Alex, the police allow him to go. On the other hand, Luton plays her mother's favorite music and it was the same music that was playing at the airport. After this, Luton makes hot water while listening to that music and pours it into a cup, but due to the water being too hot she throws that water and makes a drink again in the same cup, but this time, the cup starts to break because of the cold drink is poured into that hot cup. Due to this the drink kept in the cup slowly starts falling. But unaware of this, Luton goes to his computer to stop the music while drinking that drink. But in the meantime, The drink falls out of that broken cup and falls into the computer, and a short circuit starts happening in it. Before Luton can understand anything, the computer explodes and a piece of glass enters his throat, causing a stream of blood to flow down from her throat. Seeing this, Luton tries to pull the clothes kept in the kitchen to stop that bloodstream, but in this sequence, the knife placed under that cloth falls on his chest and gets stuck in his chest, due to which Luton dies on the spot. On the other hand, Alex is on his way home after leaving the police station. Suddenly he starts getting an indication of Luton's death again through the fire, so he runs to her house to save Luton and takes out the knife from her chest. Now in a hurry, Alex takes out the knife from her chest. That's when he realizes that he has put himself in trouble because due to the removal of the knife, his fingerprint had come on him. After that Alex panics and starts running from there, but as soon as Alex comes out, there is a blast in the house and that house is completely destroyed. But then suddenly Billy comes there and sees Alex running away. He tells everything to the police. And when the agent finds the fingerprint and footprint of the shoes of Alex, they start searching for Alex, and in this sequence, they questioned Claire about Alex. But Claire tells them that she is not in contact with him, and then those agents give their number and say that they should contact them when Alex comes. Then Claire calls Carter and Billy to meet up at night and tells go over to Alex. After this, the three of them sit in Carter's car and start going to find Alex, because was the one who knew, whose turn was to die next. They go to a park looking for Alex and start searching for him, calling out Alex's name, and in some time finally, they find Alex. And then they start taking Alex along. On the way, Carter asks Alex whose number is next. But Alex doesn't tell them anything, because the next number was Carter. Due to this Carter became angry and starts driving the car at a rapid pace. And says that if the death is confirmed then why not die today? Everyone says to slow down the car but he does not listen to anyone and stops his car in the mid of the railway track. After this, Claire, Alex, and Bailey get out of the car and ask Carter to come out too. But Carter ignores all of them and waits for his death in the car itself. On the other hand, the train is also coming towards the car at a high speed, seeing which Carter gets scared and tries to get out of the car. But at the same time, the doors of his car are locked, because according to the pattern, it was Carter's turn to die. But somehow Alex pulls Carter out of the car and manages to dodge his death. Although Alex had dodged Carter's death, but according to the pattern, it was now Bailey's turn to die. That means, if anyone dodges his death, then, according to the pattern, death goes on to the next person. Here Bailey is scolding Carter when a piece of lead from the car comes flying in the direction of Bailey and separates his head from the torso, due to which he dies on the spot. Here Alex had understood that if anyone dodged death, then death would go to his next one, and he knows that after the death of Bailey it was his turn to die. But he wanted to dodge his death at any cost, so he goes to Claire's house and locks himself. On the other hand, Claire also wanted to save Alex, so she called the police and told the location of Alex. On the other hand, Alex was thinking of dodging his death by locking himself in the room when a thunderstorm starts blowing and the door opens automatically. Seeing the door open, Alex tries to close the door, when a sharp object hits the door, and it was the sharp object that was going to kill Alex. What happens here is that there was a lot of sharp objects lying behind that door, and if that door had opened, then all that sharp thing could fly in the air and killed Alex. But before the door was fully opened, Alex closes the door, due to which he becomes successful in averting his death. After averting his own death, Alex thinks again about the pattern of that death and realizes that Claire's next death is going to happen. That's why he runs to Claire's house to save her, when the police also reach there and start chasing Alex. On the other hand, Claire is resting in her own house when, due to a strong storm, a short circuit occurs in the electric pole near her house, and an electric wire breaks and falls near her dog. Seeing this, Claire somehow saves her dog, but then the lightning strikes loudly and the nearby fountain breaks and its water comes out. Before the water comes into contact with electricity, Claire climbs onto the wall of her house and somehow manages to save herself, and reaches her car. But as soon as Claire reverses her car out of the garage, her car tire gets stuck, and at the same time, an electric wire comes and falls on her car. But in the meantime, Alex comes there and saves him by removing that electric wire from his car, and in the same way manages to dodge Claire's death as well. From here the scene shifts to 6 months later, where Carter, Claire, and Alex all come from the plane together. After that, they all go to a cafe and start to talk about the pattern of death. Looking at the design of death, it is known that now it is Alex's turn. After this, Alex starts walking towards the hotel when Claire sees a speeding bus. Seeing the bus speeding toward Alex, Claire calls him to Alex, and on hearing Claire's voice, he stops there, due to which he is saved from colliding with the bus, and bus just hits a pole, and that pole shakes a banner. Then that banner starts coming towards Alex. Only then Carter quickly come there and saves Alex. Now Alex was saved by Carter and dodged his death again. Now death will move towards its next target, and the next target was Carter. After that, the banner starts coming towards Carter with speed. But we are not shown whether Carter is dead or alive. This movie ends with this suspense. Thank you, and if you like our explanation then please subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.